Hey, good morning and welcome to the Mellow Monday edition of Wide Open Spaces right here at KPFT Houston. Getting started with Tedeschi Trucks Midnight in Harlem. Got a great show for you today. We've got a brand new one from Hayes Carl, new one from the Mighty Roark, also Margot Price. We still got some great tickets on the table. Of course, it's Pledge Drive, and when you call in that pledge of support, we still have tickets to King Khan, Shake Russell, Kelly Willis, and Bruce Robinson, and many more. It is Mellow Monday. It's the last Monday of the Pledge Drive. We're going to wrap this thing up on Wednesday, and today we're aiming for 4 new members, and we're also looking for $2,200 from all of our listeners together that we can get to that large goal today. I want to thank all the folks who did pledge on Friday, took us over the top, and thank you for that. Today's a new day with a new goal, and we've got a great show for you today. But before we get started, today live in the KPFT studios, we have a very special guest. Big-time Houstonian who got started right here and did some amazing things in the early 70s, was a founding member of Liberty Hall, and has some great stories to tell about some things that happened right here in downtown Houston. As well, he also helped get KPFT started in the late 60s and early 70s. We're glad that he is in town for a little bit, and we'll have the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Ryan Trimble. Ryan, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you. Everything going all right?
Yeah, it's going fine. I love KPFT.
We'll talk about your involvement in KPFT, but you're actually in town for a funeral for an old friend of yours.
Well, Mike Condre, my fellow partner with Liberty Hall, he passed away a couple of months ago, and they had a party, a wake party yesterday, and I guess about 100 of us got together and played some music and reminisced about Mike.
So you saw a whole lot of people from Houston's history back from the early 70s.
I saw people I hadn't seen in 30 or 40 years. It was kind of emotional.
Yeah.
But it was very nice.
Nice.
And
now, Liberty Hall was a club that formed basically where the Toyota Center is today.
Yes.
About the location of it?
Yeah, it was a theater. We had a big stage, nice lights, and good sound. Held about 500 people. And we used to broadcast on KPFT Live. And I knew the people at KPFT, and I would go down there and give them my advice and try to help them. Of course, we were all a bunch of young hippies.
Sure.
And that's what you were called. I never considered myself a real hippie because I worked too hard. But I would go down, and at first, people were really excited, but they weren't very clean. The floor was full of food and drinks, and I'd go down there and say, let's clean this place up, man. We got to be professional, and I would bitch like that. And I knew one of the first lawyers, Larry Sauer, and his wife. They were friends of mine. And Tim Mayberry was one of the founding managers. And Jeff Nightbird, who is with Thorne Dreyer, the guy who did Space City News in Austin. And we had a good time. I was, I guess, the bitcher. I was going to say, let's do it better to get this done. But y'all are real fortunate in Houston to have this kind of station. The way the world is now, there's playlists, everybody has their slanted view on stuff, and KPFT tries to present the real thing, and people should support this.
Tell me about the early years. Were you there before the founding of KPFT when they were trying to raise money to get it started the first time?
Well, I guess so. It was right before 1970, and they were downtown, and they just got the building, and it was upstairs in a real old building.
Prairie in Louisiana.
Yes.
Right there where Biff Reddy's is.
Yeah,
Biff Reddy's was there during that time. Is that correct?
No, I don't remember them being there. But you had to walk up these old stairs, and it was a pretty nice place when you got up there. And the people were very energetic and real enthusiastic, and the community got behind it. And we did, because we had a theater. We were producing shows, the kind of shows like we did a blues review with John Lee Hooker and Lightning Hopkins and Willie Dixon. So we were doing the kind of acts you don't get to hear on regular radio.
Sure.
And KPFT was very receptive, and we helped each other.
Very nice.
And yeah, it was really good for us and good for KPFT. And like I said, I have a degree in economics, and I'm business oriented, but I play blues and write and record blues and jazz. And so I'm a total blues lover. I started when I was 12 doing gospel music. So I just love music. So I wanted to see KPFT succeed. And I wanted to see young artists have an outlet. And I also wanted to see news that was real news. And that's why you should support this station.
So it sounds like the reasons that you got into KPFT, 45 years ago, the KPFT is still following that mission statement. We're still,
I believe you are.
Still doing the news and still doing alternative music and voices that you wouldn't hear anymore.
Yeah, and young people need to help. They need to give you money because it takes money to do this kind of thing.
I want you to tell folks, the night that KPFT got bombed, you also owned a bookstore.
Yeah, me and Mike had the Brazos Street bookstore where we were counterculture. We did like the Village Voice, the Chicago Seed, the Furry Freak Brothers, and Rolling Papers and stuff, that kind of thing. And they didn't like us. We had been threatened before, so I woke up one Sunday morning and found out that KPFT, their transmitter had been bombed, and there was my bookstore with the door all shot up. And I'm pretty sure it was the same people. And
so they never found the people who shot up the bookstore?
No.
But it happened the same night?
Yeah, same night.
So you think it was the same group?
Oh, yeah, they probably got drunk, went around, raised hell. But I told Mike, I said, we got Liberty Hall, we're counterculture, we got enough heat on us. Let's close the bookstore. So after that happened, we did.
That's sad.
Well, our love was the music in Liberty Hall. We had the bookstore because we sold tickets there to our shows. And, we sold newspapers around the country that were counterculture. And it was nice to have it, but I didn't want to jeopardize our real love, the theater, and our music shows. So, it was, we just had a tough decision to make. And I think we made the right one because we survived. And, I remember doing shows over the KPFT, live shows. I think y'all have tapes. I've seen that y'all archived a bunch of those.
There's some of those laying around that we still
One I remember in particular was Bruce Springsteen, and he debuted a song there, Fever.
Okay.
And he hadn't recorded it. And his manager got really mad because we put it on the air before he had recorded it. But Bruce just on the spur of the moment on the stage, he says, I've got this song Fever I haven't done. He says, but I'm going to give it a try at first time. So he blurted it out. And Bruce, we were the first people to hire him out in New Jersey. First gig out in New Jersey. We hired him for 4 nights. And I saw him in L.A. about 10 years after that at the Troubadour. I was sitting at the bar. I was staying there. A friend of mine managed the Troubadour. And in walks Bruce. And I turned around and I said, damn, Bruce. I said, what are you doing here, man? He says, oh, we just drove in. We stopped in Las Vegas and lost all our cash, lost all our money. So I said, sit down and I'll buy you a drink. And so he did, and he thanked me. He said, those were the best shows I ever done.
Really?
Yeah, and I went, really? He said, because by that time he was so hot.
That was a big deal then.
Yeah, when we had him, he was on Time Magazine, the cover. We had him when he was pretty hot, but then he got even hotter. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We're talking to Ryan Trimble. Of course, he was one of the founding members of KPFT and Liberty Hall, and he's done many things in the early 70s right here in Houston, Texas, and is here to talk about the importance of your donation at KPFT to keep us alive. How hard was it raising funds for the station back in the early 70s?
I think people were happy to have it.
Right.
And I think people wanted to support it.
Very nice. It was new and fresh, and
yeah, and sometimes now I think maybe people take it for granted, and that's bad. When you got something good, you got to support it.
Absolutely.
And I hope people here do. I hope people help you get better and better, And, you know, a little bit of money from a lot of people is a lot of money.
Right.
And it goes a long way to helping this station.
Very nice. Well, Ryan, you going to hang out in Houston for a little bit, or you headed back home?
I got some business I got to do, and then I'm going to head back.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come talk to us
Oh,
about the early days of
yeah,
KPFT.
my pleasure too.
Yeah.
Melissa Noble is a friend of mine, and she has worked here, and she went to the party yesterday with me, and she wanted to come by, and she's a very nice lady.
She's great.
I've been friends with her 40-something years, but that's why I'm here, because of Melissa.
Well, Melissa, thanks for working this out. I appreciate you. And Ryan, before you go, on Fridays I do album cut B-side rock and roll from the 60s and 70s, and I think my audience would really like to hear about how you gave Janis Joplin one of her first guitar lessons.
Oh, well, we were kids, man. I was like 14. I was born in Port Arthur, and me and Janis met before she did anything really, and we were over at a friend of mine's house. Me and him wrote music and played guitars, and she came over and she could sing good, but she didn't know the guitar, so I taught her E, A, and B seventh. If anybody knows guitar, that's the three major blues chords of the old black people.
Right.
And I taught her that, and that's what she used to do going down to Brownsville. And then I had a coffee house there when I was 17, big house, 20 rooms, but it had 4 bedrooms. And Janis, she would come over and stay with me, sleep in one of the rooms. She had girlfriends and boyfriends, and we were good friends, and she would play for me and never charge me. I fed her, and then one day she came by, and Frances Vincent, a girlfriend of hers, she was driving Janis, and Janis, I said, "What are you doing, Janis?" It was during the day, you know. She says, "I'll come by Ryan to tell you goodbye." I said, "Where are you going, man?" She says, I'm going to San Francisco." I said, "How are you going to get there?" She had a little bag, and she says, "Francis is going to drop me off on I-10 and I'm hitchhiking." She said, "I'll call you when I get there." And she did. She went there and got her band, and she called me. I was in college. And she says, "Ryan, why don't you come out to San Francisco? I think I'm going to make it." She said, "Why don't you come help me with my business?" I said, "Janis, I'm in college. I can't come, man." And I kind of wanted to, because me and Janis, she was really a good friend, a nice person who had problems, like we all do. But yeah, I kind of got her on the guitar. Yeah, and it was she reciprocated. She would come and stay and I'd say, "Janis, you want to play?" And she always, "Yeah, I want to play." I'll tell you one thing, I had a crowd one night, she wanted to play. And I attracted all kind of people, business people, straight people, beatniks. It was more beatnik club. So she gets on stage and she starts singing, and the crowd was kind of loud. She could sing real loud. But they were loud, and it started bothering her. So she shoots everybody with a bird and cusses them out right there on the stage. That's how she was. And I said, she got off stage. I said, "Janis, you can't do that. You can't do that and be successful." She says, "Well, they pissed me off, right?" I said, "Well, that's okay." But I said, "You can't do that." But she was just a real wild character, but a real nice person. I was really liked her a lot.
Ryan, thank you so much for coming in. And next time you're in town, hopefully we won't be in place driving. We'll get you on and we'll talk a little longer, all right?
Yeah, I was glad to be able to come and let me talk.
Very nice. Hey, thanks for telling us the history of KPFT. It was great to hear the old stories of not only KPFT, but Liberty Hall and just how things were here in Houston in the late 60s and early 70s. Hey, have a great afternoon.
Yeah, and send these guys some money.
Yep,
You got to keep them going.
Here's the phone number, 713-526-5738. Ryan, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you back here real soon.
Okay.
We're going to jump back into it with the late, great Guy Clark. This is Hemingway's Whiskey.